Do you want a makeup look that feels as if you've stepped off the pages of a dark fairy tale? Well, me too, obviously. Today, I'm doing a makeup look inspired by the artwork of Rebecca Guay. A subscriber recently introduced me to this artist, and I was immediately enamored. She has a lot of focus on folkloric, mythic, and fantasy-based imagery, and really paints in a more traditional style that you often see from old paintings that men painted. So frankly, it's really nice to see a woman artist painting women in this romantic, magical, beautiful way. I love it. I picked up the book Goddesses that she helped illustrate, and flipping through it, I can see that there's this specific way she tends to paint women's faces. And yes, it's definitely a makeup look. So there's a focus on darker blush tones. They creep all the way up to the eyes. So this is going to be a bit different for me, the placement. And the lips are similarly darkened, the eyes very minimal. For my coloring in particular, I'm gonna focus on these images as my source of inspiration, but she does paint various women and skin tones, so you can definitely check those out as well. But there is a similarity between all the skin tones and the types of colors she uses, so I just recommend deepening it up or switching it up a little for your complexion. I think anybody can do this makeup look, so without further ado, let's get into it. So I'm gonna go for a fairly matte type of coverage. So the way I'm gonna prep my skin is with the Milk Hydro Grip. I don't want anything that's too glowy, just something that will make my skin hydrated. So this is always my go-to prep product for that kind of look. I finally got a chance to restock my Lisa Eldridge olive shade. So this is 2.5. I'm going to build this up slowly. And while this foundation isn't ultra matte, it definitely has that satin-like, very skin-like finish. That's exactly what I'm looking for. And in fact, it's even better than a full coverage matte for this kind of look because you're not going to see potentially a little bit of makeup buildup, just that look of full coverage. If you know, you know. So just getting this across the whole face. I'm not even so sure that I'm going to use concealer today. Just get as far as I can with the foundation and really a uniform look to the whole skin. Getting it on the eyes too, but I'm not gonna go overboard with covering up the eyes. I think you can use a little bit of that dimension and natural shading you have around your eyes for this kind of look. Now just building up a second layer. Oh, I'm so excited to have this foundation back. I've been mixing my summer olive foundation from Wonderskin with everything, but it's just a little dark. I did pick up for the first time the Lisa Eldridge. This is the Pinpoint Concealer Pencil. I was mostly really excited to find a fair olive concealer. They're very hard to come by, even more hard to come by than foundations. Anyway, I just have this one blemish, so I want that little bit of extra coverage right on it. So I'm gonna try this thing out. It's very tiny, so you can just get right on the little blemish, and then I'll blend out the edge with my finger. That was pretty easy. So while this is a very blushy look, I think going for a little bit of contour or a soft bronzer makes sense to shape out the face a little. I'm going to use the Vive bronzer in the shade Light. I like this one because it's not super warm. It's the perfect shade for sculpting out my face a little, but not as cool as a gray. So I'm just gonna add that little bit of dimension under the cheekbone. The way I always like to think of this in terms of makeup and a painterly look is, if you were a painter, how would you paint a face? You want to add that roundness and dimension, so you would be adding shades like this to bring out the shape of the face. And that's what makeup is. It's just painting our faces in a very similar way that painters paint our faces on a canvas. You know, you want to bring out the hollows in certain areas, the roundness, bring things forward and back in space. And then just a little bit of this under the jawline. Okay, the blush. This is the most important step of this whole look, and I've spent a couple days fussing over the color, and there's a reason for that. So initially I was thinking of using Rituel de Fille Ghost Flower because it is this kind of romantic but darker shade. However, when I was using it, I found that it just seemed a little bit too vampy for the purposes of this look. Because I'm going to be bringing up the blush to this area of the face, when I'm using a darker color, for my complexion anyway, it can look a little sallow. That's not always a bad thing. You know, with those haunted looks, I like that look. I want to kind of bring the features back in space. So I figured I actually need something a little bit lighter, a little bit more vivid, but it still needs to have that mysterious feel. So what I've decided to do is mix two colors. Are we surprised? No, because mixology is always your friend when it comes to recreating makeup looks. So I'm going to take from Rituel de Fille, this is the shade Hummingbird. Yes, that looks wildly vivid, but don't you worry. And the reason I'm taking this one as part of the concoction for today is because when I look at a lot of the blush shades in this art, there is a bit of an orange base, and I think that's where that little bit of vibrancy and presence comes from, rather than, say, like a very dark red. And I notice it through like all the different skin tones, that little bit more warmth, almost like a burnt umber or something like that. So I'm going to take Lovesick from Rituel de Fille and mix that in with Hummingbird to create this really hybrid shade that, as you can see as I mix it, it brings it closer to Ghost Flower, which is almost right, but it still has a little bit more vividness that I think is just going to look a little bit better where the blush placement is. Anyway, that's the theory. I actually haven't yet tried this particular blend on my face yet, so let's see how it goes. And let this just be a reminder that sometimes to get a look right, you just have to experiment a little bit, so don't get disheartened if something doesn't turn out the first time. So I'm just gonna go in with my brush into both the pans, go at the back of my hand before I go into the face, get the mix right. And I'm going to start this right here. So as I go on the cheek, I see, maybe that's a little bit too vivid and orange. I'll go into Lovesick as I continue to blend on the face. And I could always deepen it up more as I blend it. Now what we're doing is we're bringing this up to the eye, onto the cheekbone. And guys, really all around. Just the key placement is bringing it up into the eye area. Not something I do regularly. But you do want it to have that little bit of tragically romantic energy, because when you bring it up to the eye, it kind of creates that effect. It brings length to the face, and it almost emphasizes a little bit of, coloring under the eye, which looks a little sad and tired, but in a beautiful way. So that's more than enough of Hummingbird. Let's go in with Lovesick. Also, I'm going very extra because I'm going to powder this down in a moment, which is going to take away some of the color. But nonetheless, it's a very blushy look, so don't be afraid to go for it. Now I'm going to take a loose setting powder. This one's from Huda, and a big fluffy brush. Work the powder into the brush, and now powder down the entire face. This will take the color back a little, mute it down, and then give the skin that soft focus finish that to me just feels more timeless. Now for the lips, I'm going to take from KGH brand the shade Etch, which I've really been loving as a contour shade for lips. Just looks very natural with my complexion. And I'm going to shape out ever so softly overline, but I'm going to shape the Cupid's bow so that it has a soft, roundness to it rather than skipping over the Cupid's bow, which I tend to do. This one's so nice to overline because it almost blends itself as you use it. And then I'm going to take this shade that's also from KJH that's more of a chocolatey brown. It's called Engrave, and I'm going to add more dimension lower here on the lip. just for that extra volume and poutiness. A little bit of that there too. Then I'm going to take the blush shade Lovesick and put that on my lips in the center and blend it in. And then just for that little bit of intrigue to the look, I'm going to take Weeping Cherry from Rituel de Fille, which is that very dark, rich red, and put that at the center of the lip. The reason why I'm spending so much time blending with these colors and kind of getting finicky about it is just because when I look at these paintings, or a lot of paintings really with this type of imagery, is there is so many colors. There are so many colors going on in it, and it can be many things at once. Romantic while also being slightly dark. So I want to get it just right. I went ahead and did my brows off camera. I did what I always do, which is just a soft fill with powder. And I do recommend you doing something similar. Just a softly defined brow, nothing too geometric or too modern looking, just very natural for your face. And honestly, I'm loving how this look is looking so far. It's really got the balance of all these elements I've been talking about. Now this is really going to come together with that little bit of definition around the eyes. So I'm going to take from Natasha Denona, I Need a Nude palette. This is one of my favorite palettes for softly defining eyes. These kinds of taupey shades are great for that. I'm going to go in with this one first and just work that into the crease so that my eyes look like they're still part of the look. But this kind of taupey shade just blends nicely with like the contour on the lips. All the tones are similar. They look like they're coming from the same paint pot. I'm going to take that same shade, but mix in a little bit of that peachy pink there. And this is going under the eyes to define them and blend into that blush that I basically brought all the way up to the eye. This just bridges the gap. I'm going to take that little bit of pink too in the crease there. And then using a little brush and this shade Tender for my deepening shade. Not quite as dark as a black. We just want the eyes to look like you've defined all the shapes of it. So I'm also going to bring attention to the lash line by using this gently along it. If you want to extend the eye a little bit, you can, but not a precise wing. And then a little bit as if you're doing that finishing touch in drawing an eye where you add that little bit of contrast. Just use the softest pressure. And in fact, I recommend going downward with the soft definition of a wing here. At least if your eyes go a little down, rather than trying to fight that shape and go up, go down. It really suits this. Here's where things are gonna get a little bit different than my usual type of makeup. So I love the way a makeup look sometimes looks without mascara. However, I can never shake the feeling that something is missing. Without mascara, it does feel more evocative, more natural, more painterly, but I still want that little bit of something for the lashes, as if you were a painter and you just added those little strokes to represent one's natural lashes. If you're like me and your lashes are very pale, you may feel this more than people with dark lashes because they're not really showing up, you know? So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna get the best of both worlds. I'm gonna curl these just a little bit. Then I'm gonna take my mascara, a dark brown, and instead of going straight to the lash with the wand, I'm gonna take a little brush and I'm gonna take the product off of the wand. So now it's on this brush. It's probably never gonna come off again. And I'm gonna paint the lashes. So add this little bit of soft definition that is way softer than I could ever get it if I tried to go straight in. Oops, ignore the fact that I just got that on my lid. So I can go in just so much softer than I could ever go if I used the wand on its own. Just a little bit on the lower lash. Can you see the subtle difference that made between the eyes? It doesn't look quite the same as putting mascara. Like, it doesn't feel like lashes are part of the look, but there's just this little bit more depth happening around the lash line. And when you look up close, you can distinguish the lashes from each other a little bit more than if you did nothing. So I feel like this is really the best of both worlds. If you want to go for that no mascara look, but you feel so bare without it, just painting it on with a brush just adds that soft finish. All right, I'm going to do the other one off camera and return. We'll see how the whole look has come together. All right, friends, here is the finished look. I gotta say, this came out exactly how I wanted. And I really think it strikes this perfect balance between that slightly dark, slightly oniric vibe, but it ultimately is really romantic and evocative of something like a dark fairy tale painting. Do you know what I mean? I feel like it's really all in how you blend colors, add dimension in little ways. That's what makes it painterly versus just sticking with, one tone or two tones and going for something fresh and dewy. It's all about really baking the colors into the skin and adding all these layers slowly. That being said, this look doesn't actually have to take that long. Once you find a couple colors that just feel evocative for you of this kind of look, it's really quite quick. Just don't be afraid to add a lot of blush. As you can see, once the look's all done, it makes sense. And it doesn't look as strange as when I first started. So that's today's makeup look. I really enjoyed this one. Let me know if you know any other artists in the comments down below, because I'm always looking for inspiration like this. There's so much out there to explore. And that's it for today. Toasty! Let's take it away. I may or may not have had to scoop Toasty up from the heated blanket. He was really loving it and really napping there. It was very, very cute. Anyway, friends, I really appreciate you watching until the end. It's really one of the best ways to help show your support of the channel, and you get the cameo of Toasty. Who would ever want to skip that? Never, am I right? And I hope you enjoyed this exploration. If you want to check out my Patreon coven down below, where you can subscribe for some bonus content and ad-free videos, I really appreciate it. And until next time, may you all find yourselves a little bit of makeup magic, and we will see you in the next video. Bye, witches.